folks. I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts.
Let's get going.
I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you?
This shit's about to be crazy. In a good way.
Who's responsible here? Who's responsible here? Whose house is this? Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car.
It's truly for the win.
So there was 2 different discs, okay? They all knew about it. We got some cowbells in here.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains,
You're going to be in trouble. All right, guys, welcome to the Transparency. How are we feeling today? It is about to be a day of truth and justice. Truth. The only way that you get justice, true justice, is from the truth. So anybody that says that I'm all about justice, no, I'm all about truth. If we get to the truth, we then can have a chance at justice in whatever it is that you are seeking, that you like, how you want to obtain your justice. Do me a favor. At some point in this video, you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. Make your own decision, but thumbs it up, thumbs it down. Take your touch DNA and slap one of those thumbs. Again, I will never tell you how to think. That's for amateurs. You do your own thinking, but I am going to tell you what I think. I'm not going to tell you what you think or how to think, but I am going to tell you what I think. And I'm usually going to back it up with some CVS receipts. Today, what I am going to tell you is I'm going to tell you that we need to go back to where it all started. Where it all started when Santa motherfucking Claus got up and told Judge, he told Ann Taylor, he said, we ain't got nothing, man. We've turned everything over. Whatever they think exists, it doesn't exist. None of that stuff, right? You remember that? Woo, woo, like he getting all pop. Check it out. Let's take a look. Let's remind ourselves.
Any response? Your Honor, we didn't realize this was going to be an issue today. We have given the defense everything that we received from the lab. They've asked for DNA workups on other people. To the extent that they don't have them, they weren't done. We can't produce something that doesn't exist. We've provided everything. There's one outstanding lab report that relates to the forensic examination by the lab personnel of the crime scene itself. We received the bid. That's the only outstanding lab report. Everything else, along all the notes, is what there is, and it's been provided to the defense. I mean, they're hoping that there's something else there. It's not there.
Taylor?
Well,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Your Honor, it's part of our third motion to compel. It's still something that we don't have. We also don't have the unexpected corrective actions, unexpected results from the Idaho State Police Forensics Lab for the 6 months before and the 6 months after November 13th, 2022. We did get some, but it's a narrow scope, and we asked for the full year, 6 months before and 6 months after. That's also in our motion.
I understand your responsibility is to turn over every rock, but you can't get things that don't exist as well. So, I mean, there has to be some level of trust in discovery. You're all sworn attorneys. And so Mr. Thompson was saying that there's one more lab report that is coming your way today, I heard you say.
Maybe not today. We were waiting to receive it so that we can process it for discovery. It's supposed to be in any time.
Okay, I misunderstood. So it's coming soon. It has to come soon because we're 6 weeks away from the trial. So we're going to be very rushed about a lot of things, but I'm going to talk about that. So what about the other claim, Mr. Thompson? Do you want to address that? The other mistakes?
Corrective action log, unexpected result log. We have that in part, but not the whole.
I don't know what exists that we haven't received. We provided all the requests to the lab, and they've assured us that they have provided us with everything they have within the scope of those requests. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, we can make a supplemental inquiry to clarify that after we finish in court today. But I'm kind of sitting here saying, Judge was giving me everything we know to exist.
Well, that would be wise to check on that.
We will.
Because we don't want.
We have given you everything that we know. That I don't even know that answer. Bill Thompson, we have given them everything that we know to exist. Well, you can understand if maybe Bill Thompson doesn't have stuff from the FBI. You can understand if Bill Thompson is working with other agencies outside of his little bubble, okay? But something that I will not allow to be any way misconstrued is how you, Bill Thompson, could possibly tell the defense in good faith a year ago. We're almost coming up on a year when this man was saying this stuff. We don't have it. We don't have anything. We don't have anything. We don't have anything. We don't have it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Well, you work literally like side by side with the Moscow Police Department. You work with one of the men who was literally writing every other search warrant in this case except for Payne. And that would be none other than Detective Maury. I believe that Detective Maury is going to be on the motherfucking hot seat today, as he should. Go back and check this channel. We put it in order of these search warrants on when they were going and getting things and what would lead you to be like deemed as important and relevant and all these things about going and getting these search warrants. Also, if you read Payne's PCA, this was a collective piece of artwork. This PCA was not just Brett Payne. This PCA was a bunch of people working together to make up the PCA, right? Do you guys remember how much time Ann Taylor and the defense team spent putting in motion after motion about this? It was supposed to be a preliminary hearing. And then all of a sudden it goes grand jury and then boom, he's indicted. And then what does Ann Taylor do? She asks for the minutes. Okay. She's like, wait, what? What's up with this grand jury? She had issues with the grand jury. Well, I want to know who testified at the grand jury. I want to know what they testified to. I want to know if they were able to testify. to certain things that they said. Because I told you guys that you have to meet certain requirements to testify under even the hearsay exception. Okay, you have to have so many years and so many qualifications underneath your belt to testify a certain way. So back in the day, you all have known that Bill Thompson has repeatedly said, we've turned over everything. We don't have it. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Well, there was supposed to be a hearing back a couple weeks ago. It got pushed back to which is the 30th, but we're having a hearing today because we're taking somebody is testifying today. Somebody is testifying that the defense is calling to testify. Now, why would, let's say, Detective Maury from the Moscow Police Department be called by the defense to testify? What could that possibly serve? How could that possibly help the defense? Why would the defense be calling them? Well, I think it's to get your ass on the motherfucking record. That's what I think. I think it's like, we got some questions. You're going to answer these under the penalty of perjury, right? We're going to get to the bottom of whatever it is that you did, right? We're going to get to the bottom of, you want to talk about fluffing a PCA for the purpose to arrest somebody. Whoo! That's an issue. That's an issue. So today, I personally believe that Ann Taylor will be calling none other than Detective Maury to the stand. Could she call somebody else? Sure. Could she call Cyree? Could she call, Batanti? I think that's his last name. Her own investigator. Could she call Bethany Funk? Sure, she could call a bunch of different people. But what is she asking for? This is a motion to compel discovery. This is a motion to compel discovery. Who went out there and obtained every single almost search warrant in this case? So who would know what exists and what doesn't exist? Who would know that? Who would know when they turned something over? Who would know that? Bill Thompson didn't. Did Bill Thompson write some? Did Ashley Jennings write up some affidavits to go get some search warrants? Who wrote up the majority of the search warrants in the Idaho4 case? And if you've been following this channel, you will know that it's none other than Detective Maury. Payne wrote a couple. I also believe that a couple different prosecutors backed some of the affidavits that were filed in connection with this case for search warrants in this case. That's going to be interesting. But if we're talking about a motion to compel discovery, and you have Bill Thompson telling us for a year that he has provided Ann Taylor with everything that they know to exist, and what she is asking for just simply does not exist. Then I want to get into what I feel in my heart of hearts is happening here. What is the number one thing besides this little touch DNA that came from a fuck job by the FBI with IgG? What else is so heavy in the PCA? It's a device in a car. And you're saying they're hand in hand. Right? Okay. Who supplied that PCA with that information? Who truly was the one that was I consulted with I. Okay. I pulled it out here because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the 13th page of the PCA. They went out and got historical cell site location information, CSLI, for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with an FBI Special Agent SA that is certified as a member of the Cellular Analysis Survey Team CAST. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations. Remember when Ann Taylor said, I want training records. I want records. I want to know everything about you, little rascals. Ann Taylor wanted to know this because she's been around the block. She knows who these people are. And how in the world could you possibly testify or write up something that you are X, Y, or Z if you're not? If I know that you're not. You guys, today's the day that I know I've been waiting for to show off my mug and to say, hey, Santa. Hey, Santa, are you listening? They've been lying. There's lying going on. There's deceptive practices going on. There's railroading going on. And you know what's sad? You know what sucks? Is that this fuckerage could potentially let a guilty man go. Or this fuckerage could potentially convict an innocent man. Bill Thompson stood up after Ann said that there is no connection with my client. There's nothing connecting him to any of the victims. Right? We just finally squeezed it out of this tightwad. Just what? A month ago? A little bit month ago? That what? Because of the questionnaires. Okay, that's a lie. That's a lie. Why are you putting stuff in a questionnaire? That's not true. That's not true. This man is full of more motherfucking shit than Jennifer McCabe and Carrie Roberts together. That's how confident I am that this man is more full of shit. You know who else is going to be more full of shit? Lawrence motherfucking Maury. Bring your fucking ass down here. Let's go. Let's get this motherfucking party started.
Want this to come back on the eve of trial.
Yes, sir.
Or, 4 years from now at an appeal.
Yes, sir.
So we want to make sure that we have combed through all the has any bearing or argument of bearing on this case. That's all. So,
Virginia is making a note right now. We'll send the inquiry out later today.
okay.
Thanks, sir.
Your Honor, just for clarification, we also ask for all emails, text messages, electronic messages, or other messages. And some have been provided, but we don't have assurance that that's all. And so for the same reason, we want to make sure that we have the complete file.
Okay, Mr. Thompson.
We have told them, we have given them everything that we know to exist. We've asked the lab provided it to us, and sent to them. At this point, all I'm hearing is speculation. They think maybe or they wish something else was there. But as far as we know, it doesn't exist. I don't know what else we can say. You can't respond to something that isn't real. Sorry, Judge.
I mean, we're just sorting it out.
Yes, sir.
Making sure that everything that there is share them.
We'll make-
Except for the ones that you don't want.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And that's one of the reasons.
We'll make an additional inquiry to the lab to see if there's anything else in the form of emails that they haven't already provided to us.
I would add, I mean, there are times, okay, in the world of the law, that sometimes people forget to do things, or sometimes things fall through the cracks, and so it's always healthy to make sure that it's done thoroughly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're now ready to call Steve Mercer.
Okay. Just one moment. Are your experts in the courtroom right now?
Yeah.
Do they need to be in the courtroom?
Your Honor, I'd ask that they be allowed to remain in the courtroom, seated where they are, so they're just.
All right, so that was back from August of 2023. Again, this has stuff to do with IGG stuff. This has stuff to do with Santa Claus has said the same thing about stuff that has to do with the discovery requests that were made early on in the investigation / after the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Like we need these things. Remember, they fought so hard to get the training records. Well, I think we're going to find out today why they fought so hard on training records. I think we're going to find out a lot about that today. I think that we're going to find out a lot about, I think they're going to keep it open. I truly do. I don't think that there's anything that calls in a motion to compel discovery for anything to be not seen by the public. And if you're going to try to close it and do anything like that, then be prepared to violate Bryan Kohberger's rights. And I just don't think they're in a position to want to do that. So I don't see this being closed for any reason. As far as the IGG stuff goes, that we're expected to hear about on the 30th, I believe. So everything that we're going to hear from today, it is my personal opinion that based off of the extensive research that I've done in this case, that the only person capable of testifying that the defense is going to call is either Brett Payne or Lawrence Maury, who would have come across and who made the warrants, the search warrants. They dealt with the material. They were a detective in this case dealing with the material that was sought out, received, got. And you have to think about this is there's other stuff that they didn't even need search warrants for, that if stuff was just turned over. So like a consent to have a phone, stuff like that, a consent form to, you let us download your phone, you let us do this, you let us do that. Also speaking to the Gonsalveses, the couple times that I have, knowing what detectives they were actually in contact with, Lawrence Maury is one of them. And so therefore I'm putting my bet on Lawrence Maury to be the person that is called about the compelling of discovery issues. And I think we're going to pin down some dates on when they either had the stuff, didn't turn it over, or had the stuff and turn it over, and that Santa Claus lied about it. Somebody is lying here. And the only way that you get that answer is you ask the questions. And that's what I think Ann Taylor's going to do today. I think Ann Taylor's going to ask a lot of questions, and she's going to see that, or she's either not going to see it or she is going to see it. And same with the courts and same with all of us, is that either Ann Taylor's just, blowing smoke up all of our asses, right? Or there's a problem. There's a significant problem. And I believe that there's a problem in the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. I believe there's a problem in how they handled the grand jury. So, we're about 7 minutes out when this is supposed to start. I was told to go get your popcorn. I was told to go get your drinks. And let's bring on the cowbells. Let's go. That's what we're here for. Santa's going to be brushing through his beard. Can you activate subtitles? It depends if I don't think I can from what they're going to be doing. Again, this was just taking us back to 2023. I don't think that Judge is equipped to be able to do that. So just answering. What is up? all the moderators, all the member subscribers. You guys, holy shit. Side note here, Idaho. You guys know I've been running a personal and private investigation into the murder of Brian Drake because I'm determined to make sure that an innocent man, Dr. Moore, is completely exonerated. But more importantly, if I can discover some stuff to maybe, hey, get some justice for Brian Drake, it'd probably be worth it. Well, guess what, Idaho? Guess what? ISP, I got something for your ass. Brian Drake, he had 4 phones, not 3, 4. Motherfucking 4. And the way that the Idaho State Police entered evidence into the discovery, they tried to hide. They tried to hide or conceal or make it seem like phone 3 was actually phone 4. It's pretty sick. So yeah, Special H up in the house. Woo! You guys, there is no shame in Idaho State's game. They don't give a fuck. You know that song by I think Lil Wayne and the Young Money Crew, or maybe it's like Little John and the East Side Boys. Like if you don't give a fuck, we don't give a damn. It's something like that. These people straight up don't give a fuck. It's all about them. And when you have a couple good nuggets, they're either flipped and blackmailed at some point, or they're outcasted and bye-bye, see you later. So, but I just discovered within the last 48 hours, a 4th cell phone that Brian Drake had in his office at the time of the killing. So he had his personal phone on him. He had his work phone on him. And then there was a phone in his gym bag in his vehicle. And there was a 4th phone in the bag, the black bag that was in his office where the Hawaiian word book was. It was under that. And you guys do know that Brian Drake's last patients spoke, like they're Hawaiian. And they full of so much shit. Oh, Social Crime Club in the building? No way. Are they here? Shut up. You're lying. You're lying. Where are they? No way. Social Crime Club. Oh boy, this hearing isn't closed. So interesting to see. Hi, Carrie. No way. You fine, girl. I'll say it. Hi, Carrie. Welcome. Oh, well, isn't that special? Now I got all the pressure on me. Cheers, Carrie. Cheers. You know how many emails I get about you guys? There's it's going back and forth. Who's hotter, you or Sai? So take the blush off me and I'll put it on to you guys. Hi. Yes, that is, you know what? Shit, I feel special. Thank you. Well, it's an open hearing and I probably get at least, I would say 2 to 3. One day I got like 30 emails. I had a lot of ladies asking me if your man was like single. And I said, I have no idea. So lately, though, I feel like it's backed off a little bit because I think that people realize that, oh, the man and the woman that are on the camera together, they're married. So, but yeah, the first couple days after I showed your guys' stuff, I got emails on wanting to know if your man was single. And then it was like hotornot.com. So, yeah. You guys, if you guys don't know about Social Crime Club, you guys, please go check it out. It's like Dateline on steroids because you get the humor behind like an actual story of like a Dateline type story, but you're getting it from like 2 law enforcement personnel perspective. But they have a perspective that's all about like, hey, we're just after what's right and wrong. It's a really cool setup. So I love it. So if you guys don't know about it, if one of my mods could share that, it's totally worth your time to be a subscriber, and it's free to be a subscriber. Yeah, see there, Annie. Yes, Yeah, look at that. I gotta do a cowbell ring. There you go. All right, guys, we're 1 minute away from start time. Let's see if we got this going on. Oh, and if you're wondering who's in the background, like beating shit up back there, it's her name's Espinola. Espinola, what you doing, girl? I asked her if she had come through and clean a couple things for me. I got the family coming to town, and so that's what she's doing up there. I didn't realize it was such a mess. Espinola. Her name's not Espinola, guys. Come on, that's a joke. Her name's Mommy Poppy Sexy. All right, guys, let's check it out. More cowbell. All right, Judge, I don't think he's going to be as late as Bev, but here we go. He's not on yet. Stacy says the last episode he talks about how much he dislikes defense attorneys. The fact that he is testifying for the defense in this case is huge. I just like somebody that actually has some damn integrity. It's hard to find integrity around here. That's how I feel about the Karen Reed case right now. Speaking of which, those of you guys that are following me with the Karen Reed case, thank you for being here. I was a big advocate for the Idaho4 case of, I was calling it out, the fuckerage that was going on. Myself and Bella did a really good job of getting our hands on some body cam footage from nights at the 1122 King Road house that I don't think would have ever come out because mainstream media buried the videos. The couple videos that they could have had their hands on, they claimed that they didn't file the paperwork right. But 2 of the videos that they would have never gotten their hands on, we got. But when I heard that, I scratched my head and I said, no way. Because we personally believe that they did not want to show that house as a revolving door that it was, because then it's opening itself up to, okay, wow, anybody could have been in here and anybody could have done this. And they were trying to keep that under wraps, in my personal opinion. But I believe that the only way that you got to get to the truth if you want to have any chance at justice. And in this case, we don't want anybody ever to do something like what happened on that night to happen ever again. And the only way that you can truly prevent that is by finding out what happened. So, again, today we're taking over and unders here. I personally believe that Lawrence Maury will be the person that would be testifying. I think it has to do with, if this is, again, a motion to compel discovery. Who had their hands in all of those search warrants? Who was writing up the search warrants? Who knew what was coming in, what was going out, when it was received, when it was passed on? Who's the person that's working hand in hand between the Moscow Police Department and the Latah County Prosecutor's Office? And that, to me, you're leaning either towards the chief, the lead detective, or a detective that was working side by side with the lead detective in this case. And I believe that would be Lawrence Maury, Brett Payne, and then obviously Fry. And I know that he don't even know that answer. I know that it ain't Fry. What else? I made some other notes. More cowbell. let's see. If we're having issues with the cast report back, if there was this alleged cast report that was there and available for the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, that cast report should have been totally done, handed over, because that was used to arrest Bryan Kohberger, remember? And then here, Ann Taylor had to legit keep filing discovery supplemental requests after literally, I think it's up to 15 now. It may even be more. We just haven't seen any paperwork, but this is the third and fourth motion to compel. Or is it the fourth and fifth? Either way, Ann Taylor specifically said that on March 21st, 2023, she had like a draft for the cast. Okay. Excuse me? No. And who was actually the person to, like, Brett Payne said that it was, the PCA was, when he says I, right? He also said that it was information that it was like what do I want to call it? It was groupthink. This was group work, groupthink. All right. And so therefore, 535, I'm making sure that this is, oh boy, filter that channel. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Sorry. I was double checking. So I want to go back to like this whole cast stuff, and it's like, how don't you have the material that you said that you used to arrest somebody? Like, it's just, come on, man. That doesn't make any sense. Athena, thank you so much. Kat, woo, welcome. Charles, Jesse, Francisca, woo, Jesse. Oh, you stargazing little. I mean, you're a murderer, man, if you're stargazing. Is that Catalyst do? Is that it? All right. Oh, 12 months baby time. Baby time, baby. Yeah. Boy or girl, pick it. Miss Lilac. Hey, Lana, I'm here with it all. 14 months. Thank you so much. Gifted 5 memberships. Who turned green? RJ Guess. Hopefully they're cool people. Thank you, guys. So going back to this, the cast, who did the testifying at the grand jury? Who testified to the cast at the grand jury? The cast was so important. That information was so important to connect Bryan's phone to the car movements, to then the surveillance footage, right? How are you connecting all of that, right? So yeah. How are you connecting all of that? Who testified to all of that? Who testified to all that? Well, my guess is Lawrence Maury is coming out here for a reason, and he better be bringing it. I know that Ann Taylor's about to bring it. This channel's been a huge supporter of Ann Taylor and her efforts. So who's going to be testifying to that? So do we think that anybody testified to cast? Because wouldn't that be like the FBI needing to be there to testify to that? So if the FBI didn't testify at the grand jury, we throw them out. So then what did Lawrence Maury or Payne, who testified? Remember I told you guys that I don't believe that Payne was able to testify because he only had 2 years. What did he at the time, 2 or 3 years? You have to have, I think, 5 years to testify to hearsay, I thought. You have to have some qualifications to testify to hearsay. And I didn't know if Brett Payne even made it. So if it's Lawrence Maury, then what did he testify to? What was his grand jury testimony? And then let's go back to let's go back to discovery. Like, we've been asking for stuff. Why haven't you turned it over? Bill Thompson has said that it doesn't exist. Okay. Or he's hidden behind that if it had anything to do with IGG, he's hidden behind protections with that. But he's maintained when it's come to discovery requests that he's turned everything over, or that it simply doesn't like that we don't have it. It does not exist. So, but I wanted to make sure I clarified that Lawrence Maury is not an FBI agent. He is a detective with the Moscow Police Department. So, again, Judge, are you live? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at, Lauren? Where you at? Where you at? Judge, what's going on here? Oh, there it is. It's live. It's time.
I believe Mr. Logston is remote, and so is Ms. Mathod, both representing Mr. Kohberger. I think I've covered everybody. Ms. Evans is court reporter. We're here for a motion and a potential witness, I believe, relating to motions to compel discovery, 4th and 5th. That's all I know. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Your Honor, the court is correct. We are here to begin the motions to compel. We have testimony today from Detective Maury. As the court will recall, he's unavailable on the 30th and 31st, which are the days when we will have the full scope of our motions to compel. So it may feel a little choppy, but we would like to hear from Detective Maury today, and we'd call him when it's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Anything preliminary, Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings? Okay, great. Detective Maury, come on up. You face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead and have a seat there. Once you're seated, please state your name and spell your last.
My name is Lawrence Maury, Mowyery.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Taylor?
Thank you. Will you tell us how you're employed?
I'm employed with the Moscow Police Department.
What is your role there?
I am a detective.
How long have you worked for Moscow Police Department?
I've worked for Moscow for over 5 years.
Have you been a detective that entire time?
I have.
And prior to that, did you have law enforcement experience?
I do.
How many years total?
We have 14.
Detective Maury, did you take part in the investigation into the homicides on King Road?
Yes.
And what was your role?
A lot of different things. How to answer that.
Well, I can ask you about a couple of roles, maybe.
Sure.
Do you do any work with cell phones and cell towers?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation?
Yes.
All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USB hard drives that came in time. At one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server so that we had it stored and backed up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
Don't have to say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. So the USB had the name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and that came from it.
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay? What training do you have for that role?
So some time ago, I went through what they say PATC training, which is cellular analysis, and I've also taken classes with CASPAs.
The cellular analysis, is that particular to the device itself, the cell phone device?
No.
That is particular to towers?
to the towers and the providers themselves.
When did you take that training?
Well, the cast, I believe it was in 2019, and then I also did it again last year.
And the cast that you took in 2019, that was the ENDICAC, is that right?
That was predominantly again.
And the cast that you took last year was October of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the actual cast training.
They were both done by actual cast members. I'm not sure if one was sponsored by the other, but they were both performed by FBI cast members.
And Your Honor, if I can approach.
Yes, thank you.
Detective Maury, I'm putting in front of you what's labeled as Defendant's Exhibit O, and those are 2 certificates for training. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The one that's from 2019, what did that cover?
That covered the use of the cast-goods software.
And what did the one in 2023 cover?
The second.
Your Honor, I move for admission of Defendant's O.
The objection?
No objection.
Okay, those are exhibit, oh, no objection. Thank you.
The Detective Maury, how many total hours do those certificates represent of cast training?
I apologize, I didn't look, it was a week long, it was actually a couple of days each time. 2 days a piece of
Do you need this?
but so the 2019 shows 24 hours, the 2023 says 16 hours.
Thank you, Detective.
Thank you.
Detective, you've written some reports in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to talk about 2 particular reports right now. One is from May the 5th of 2023. Do you recall that report, or should I bring a copy of that to you?
It'd be helpful to add a copy.
I can definitely do that. You can show it to Mr.
May
Jennings.
5th, 2023 that's one of the reports that Anne has, I think, said that she had a draft of.
We have a jury next door,
Okay.
just so you know, that's all about.
Detective Maury, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes.
And Your Honor would move for admission of Defendants P.
That's P,
P, like Paul?
all right, any objection? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exhibit P is admitted, no objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Maury, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about documents or records or logs that can be created by a CAST Viz program. The report that you wrote that I received today, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The research logs that I found were from yesterday.
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for this hearing.
Okay. And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CastBiz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No,
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
I found session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right, and in those session logs, how many files were there?
I don't remember, I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
Did you look at the CastBiz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did at the time of reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attempted to.
All right, and how about the CastBiz full log?
I attempted to yesterday.
I noticed in your report that there were several items that you listed. Were those from these CastBiz logs that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, you need to speak up a little bit. Or just telling me to pick up a little bit.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
Well, let's start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
What?
There's over 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records, and there's a 48-hour session log. I don't know which one they're at.
Let's go with the session log. What was in there?
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by CastBiz.
JSON files were produced by CastBiz. Is that right?
I would assume that. I didn't create those files.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December, the other was in April.
December of what year?
22,
And April of what year?
23.
Could you tell who created those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
I was provided those via email.
By who?
I made balance of the FBI.
Who?
What did you do with those?
Even as soon as I realized they were in my possession, I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes,
What did you do with them prior to that time?
they were sent to me. I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay, and that was the 48-hour file?
You forgot them?
Our session log, yes.
How about the full file? What was contained in there?
Similar to items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohberger?
Yes.
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written. One that covered a 48-hour period for the cell phone.
The 2030
numbers,
bitch.
And there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
And those are what you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2?
Correct.
Okay.
48 and one for the longer period.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It is a file that I received from Agent Balance.
When did you receive that?
Honestly, the modification date or the email, I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was yesterday and I didn't throw this stuff together, so.
Okay. So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes,
Okay. Did you open that?
I don't recall opening it. But
Yeah, you did.
I don't recall doing it.
How about the CDR.S.XLSX file? Was that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
All detail records,
Did you open that?
I don't remember if I did not.
Did you open it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was looking for it. Once I
You
found
don't
them, I was
remember
trying
it
to
was
figure out
yesterday.
how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's where I started to focus.
Okay. How about the export.kmz file? When did you find that file?
I had found that one yesterday.
Do you know when that came into your possession?
some time ago.
Did you
What?
open that?
I believe I did on my laptop.
What did that show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on a map.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CastViz 48 and the CastViz full, are those copied so that I can have those now?
Yes,
And you referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were preparing for this hearing?
I believe there was 5.
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes,
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
it was a JSON file that was inside the CastViz session.
What does that depict?
It's just data that CastViz would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use that file? Well, let me ask this first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CastViz program?
I attempted to load the session file in its entirety and it received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I can see reference.
Is that file usable?
I'm sure it is somewhere.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction it is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of, if I could possibly bring it into the CastViz. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do. So I didn't get that. I didn't pull that file.
What were you trained to do?
Is that file available on a Discovery drive for me?
Provided to the prosecutor today.
Thank you.
You gave it to him today? Okay.
In the report that I just got today, there's a reference to another CastViz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
I believe you're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder.
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided 2 folders. One was CastViz and one was my last name of Maury. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I use to create this report.
Okay. CastViz is the files that you found while preparing,
Correct.
and the one that says Maury is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes.
Okay, I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
That was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes.
Okay. And then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
So I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I cannot remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. Because that's when the screenshots were created.
Okay. Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a cast viz program at that time to create something?
Yes,
The cast viz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this cast viz program?
the 2019 training.
Okay. With the cast viz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CPR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did the 48-hour.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records, and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
Okay. After you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CPR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in?
Yes,
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and just import it into the program?
yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents of the file. And I use the text document to put into CastViz to have it adjusted.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
How did you create screenshots?
By using the built-in Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows game console, or they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G, that allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Yes,
How many times did you use call detail records in the CastViz program?
probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
He said the
I
grand
don't
jury.
understand what that means.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
Who
The
was?
grand jury probably requested.
Who was?
Okay. What did you rely on in producing those? Producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records,
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the CastViz programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Okay. But you end up involved in it somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's why I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay. Was that all of your instruction?
What do you mean with that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use.
What?
And I'm
Come on,
curious
buddy.
about what you relied on, what you to get to that point.
Toe tag this
I wanna know all the
motherfucker.
records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to
Yes.
produce this thing
Yeah,
that
daddy.
you're not the expert for.
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records. received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator, who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question.
4 hours that were in question?
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the CAST training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mhm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset or delete. You can delete them individually as well.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you'd created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session log, so I don't know how I was doing it. You delete the reference
You
of
didn't-
the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
No.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the CAST Viz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
What is that protocol?
You don't know when you did that?
No, you can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I deleted that.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The CDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into CAST Viz in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show him.
Yeah, because he's not making a lick of sense here. Let's see if this.
I'll give it to you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh wow, Anne's an all-out approach. I'm just kidding. Again, welcome to the transparency. Make yourself known. Thumbs it up. Shit's going down in Moscow, Idaho. On the stand is Lawrence Maury, one of the detectives from Moscow Police Department, who worked hand in hand with Payne. And Ann Taylor just handed him an exhibit.
Are you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes,
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessible.
Okay. And Your Honor, would move for admission of Defendants W?
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is presented.
Thank you.
No objection.
The cast
In your
user.
training, were you also taught from the cast field user's guide?
I believe so.
I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's switch gears for just a minute. You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation
Holy shit.
to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow?
Yes.
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those spots
What did you learn?
that they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Both.
Did you do a preservation for anything?
Not recall studying actually a preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes. Thank you.
What the fuck did you do, Maury? I saw your sloppy work back in frickin' as soon as they released all those search warrants. I was like, who filled this shit out? Sloppy, inept. How pissed off were you that you weren't lead? I think he was kind of pissed off that he wasn't lead detective. You'd been there for how many years, and then just Payne comes in and he just... Did you muff it on purpose, or are you just, maybe you're not even qualified to do any of this? So he didn't preserve, he was looking for surveillance cameras in and around Moscow, Idaho. Like, go check out our, I think I just even played that video where I showed you guys all the different cameras that were in the area. You didn't preserve any of that. Like, I mean, immediately you have no idea how this guy or whoever did this was to leave up out of Moscow, Idaho, right? So you want to preserve all these cameras. That's what I'm understanding right here. I mean, think about this. This is like a situation in like the Delphi case.
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these were emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com, the website that does weather-related information, as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay.
Fuck you.
For admission of defendants PP.
Thank you. That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
No shit, no objection, Judge. This is 101, motherfucker.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you, I have a specific one a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video?
Red Star Coffee Shop. Come on, guys, write it down.
And are you aware that it was booked in or brought in by Idaho State Police?
Oh, those chumps? Talk about it, Ann.
How
fuck
would
them.
I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You would have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I
Well,
was
you-
just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them individually by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping with the calls.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that.
Excuse me, Idaho State Police brought this in. Oh,
All right,
was
give
it
me just a
fucking?
minute, Your Honor.
Was it that sugar tit? Was it Leslie Lehman, that sugar tit?
Thank you, Detective Maury. I don't have any other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Jennings, Mr. Thompson.
Ms. Jennings.
Okay, Ms. Jennings.
Thompson just bowed down and said, "You could take this one."
All right,
Because
I want to go back and talk a little bit about this past biz. Can you explain to me generally what is cast biz?
she
Just
can't
the
even
software
stand
that
up.
is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of cast biz do you have?
Currently, I think I have 33 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program,
Yes,
and then what do you do?
drag the text file from the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes.
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
Those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. This also allows a timeline playing view that you can record separate from Windows built in software. Save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastBiz?
The only thing that I would have done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they were coming in from TC. It was a coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the local time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
No.
Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No. And in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save a session file.
Okay. And can you tell me why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software, drag the CDRs back in, and in a very short time it is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't save it?
Yes.
I want to switch over to the other session files that you found. Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
And have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes.
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
It's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by, I think it was Captain Corporal Payne that told me that we should look into windy.com.
And why is that?
just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so Wendy.com has cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going onto their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And then after that, I believe it's I was seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from Wendy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten, I believe it was one image per day. Time frame wasn't where we were interested in, so we didn't capture that once.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes,
It's what's available on the publicly available website,
anyone can go to wendy.com and grab the screenshots there.
and you've now done that.
I have,
Anything of evidentiary value?
no,
Have those been turned over anyway?
yes.
I just have 1 second.
Sure.
Take as many seconds as you need, Ashley. You're about to get fucking toe tagged.
I don't have any credits.
Go get her, Ann! Get her!
Yes, just a bit.
Get her!
You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from Wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
Yes.
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
With the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, if I remember right, the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime. Middle of the day kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions.
Let's
for
go,
you.
girl!
When you were doing the work back in April of 2023,
2023, April.
did
right
you
before the
see
grand jury.
maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And you also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is. You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
There's to be a screen capture of the cast is software.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Exhibit R is in.
No.
Exhibit R is admitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created? You would agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
I'd have to have, if I took the regular cell call detail records and put them into a different version of cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, the prosecutor suggested that your work be recreated. And so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. What I want to know is if I have the 48-hour call detail records that contain the tower list like you have, do I have to have the CAST Viz program that you used so I can see what you did?
I don't know, because I don't know what the back end of the CAST software does. I'm just a user, so I don't know.
How do you have the
And you were
picture?
in this CAST Viz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But you didn't save your work.
We did not create a session log. That's even need.
Would you agree I can't see what you did without your session log? Can't examine what you did without your session log?
It's there to create the visualizations for the exhibits. That's what I use CAST.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into CAST again. The results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create
Have you
And we
done
can
that?
we can redo it.
these records.
Yes.
No.
Thanks, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Jennings?
Um, can we go, why did you pull the CDRs into CASTIS?
Why did I do that in April? Because I was asked by you to do it for the tender.
Okay, is that the only reason you did it?
Yes.
Is that the only time you did it?
Yes.
Okay.
That I remember. I mean,
Follow up on that question?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, great. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Any objection? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. All right, you are excused, but you can stay if you like. Okay, next witness.
Your Honor, the rest of the witnesses will be present and ready to go on the 30th, to the very best of my knowledge. This was the only witness we needed to accommodate with today's hearing. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. So we're done for today?
We're done for today, Your Honor.
Wow, okay. Ms. Jennings, agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Yes, what are you, hold on. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Beth. So I have a whole bunch of documents that is not clear whether I should sign the sealing or not, because there's no stipulation and there's no hearing, but we're all here together. So can we just go through this and clear it up? Yes?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, so the first one I have is motion to temporarily seal supplemental response to defendant's fourth and response to fifth motions to compel and motion to limit scope of testimony. And I have not signed that because there was no stipulation or agreed.
Your Honor, I apologize. I thought we had agreed those have the detailed exhibits attached to them, and I thought we'd stipulated that those detailed exhibits could be sealed.
Okay, well, the addition on that was limited scope of testimony, so I wasn't sure if that was included in our earlier agreement.
Your Honor, that's the state's motion. I know we responded to that and we did not seal our response to that.
Okay. State is asking for sealing on that. Are we on the same page? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Just want to know if I should sign this or not.
Well, I'm just not sure. Is there an objection? It's the state's motion to seal. Is there an
Right.
objection from defense to seal?
No, if they want their documents sealed, that's fine. We had responded publicly and so I wondered if that changed.
Okay, so I'll sign this. That's one.
So the state's
Just
the
don't wanna
one
get in
stealing.
trouble With your arguments about sealing and not sealing. Okay.
Get in
Wanna
trouble.
be
What the
very
fuck? What is
clear
wrong
on
with this
record.
dude?
Thank you for that.
Good job, Anne. Good job, Anne. See, I ain't got no problem. Ain't no problem here. All I know is
This
that
is
you.
filing up with the clerk. Okay, next one is also the state's, oh, this is the one that's sealed. Got that taken care of. Got another one from the state, a motion to temporarily seal exhibits 1 of state second supplemental response, etc. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. These titles are getting along, I have to say. Fine. Clear.
All right, what I've gathered so far is that on the 30th, we had to get his testimony out there on the record. You know what I mean? You got to get people's testimony out there on the record because the rest of the people are testifying on the 30th.
Okay.
And so therefore, he, in my personal opinion, remember,
This is the same.
he testified today. We had to make sure that we get him on the record with
That's
everything,
it.
right? And then
Okay.
the
Anything else we need to
30th,
talk about before we're done?
Nothing from us.
Okay.
and I think
Thank
look
you
at
all. We're adjourned.
look at their
Appreciate it.
reaction there. Look at their reaction. Their reaction there is, I mean, you know, Santa's always up in a fucking tiz whiz. Santa is you guys, we just found out that they didn't preserve surveillance at a main intersection. Now, do you guys remember all that they were writing and putting out to the public is like, hey, send us this, hey, send us that, hey, if you have ring footage, whether or not there's anything on it or not, like send it our way. You guys remember all that stuff? I mean, I think we remember all that, right? So you're gonna sit here and tell me that they're asking for all of this stuff, but meanwhile, with business surveillance footage, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, but they wanted everything from us. You know, when they ask for everything from somebody, right? And they try to see everything, you know what that creates, right? Hey, let us see what we're dealing with, and then we know like what we need to bury. This is just absolutely wild. But he's just one of many that are going to be testifying. I guess I don't understand this. We have the FBI that wouldn't save any of their work for the tree, right? For the IGG tree, right? And then we get to this stuff and nobody saved anything for this, right? So I don't understand how when you are dealing with a high profile case that all eyes would be on you, it's a death penalty case. You don't think that you need to do stuff like, I mean, wouldn't you want to be like, it's like game 7 of the championship, like you're on point. I don't understand. I don't understand how. What would make you not do it that way? How about that? What would make you not do it that way? What would make you not do it that way? I don't get it. So the best part, I think that we can all agree, is that this dude testified. Do you think the judge already deleted it? Let's see. Can I play a little bit of it? Okay.
Those visuals, I created screenshots, created.
Okay, let's start. Let's see if I can start again. Let's see if it'll let it go.
For a motion and a.
Let's see when he gets up there. Okay.
Well, I can ask you about a couple of roles, maybe.
Sure.
Do you do any work with cell phones and cell towers?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation? All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
Okay. So right there, cell phone. He played a role in cell phone, right? Oh, you're on law and crime. It's not going anywhere. You're right. You're right. It was, wasn't I? Thank God. Cell phone. He played a role in that, right? Now, the next thing she's about to ask, here you go. What's your role in surveillance?
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in. At one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server so that we had it stored and backed up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
Don't have to say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. Right, so the USB had the name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and that came from it.
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
Okay, so he had no role in so like the content. Okay, you guys remember I told you guys about how ISP works. All right. So ISP was providing, I'm telling you, I already put it out there. They were told to contact that Leslie Lehman bitch tits, sugar tits, my ass woman. Okay. And I'm going to show you as the liar that she is. This is wild. So he didn't check it to see like, okay, that this is exactly what we think it is. Like you didn't check the material.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay? What training do you have for that role?
So some time ago, I went through what is a PATC training, which is cellular analysis, and I've also taken classes with CAS codes.
The cellular analysis, is that particular to the device itself, the cell phone device?
No.
That is particular to towers?
To the towers and the providers themselves.
When did you take that training?
Well, the CAS, I believe it was in 2019, and then I also did it again last year.
And the
So
CAS
last year
that you
would
took
matter.
in 2019, that was the ENDICAC, is that right?
That was developed again, correct?
And the CAS that you took last year was October of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the actual CAST training?
They were both done by actual CAS members. I'm not sure if one was sponsored by the other, but they were both owned by FBI CAS members.
And Your Honor, if I can approach.
Yes, thank you.
Detective Maury, I'm putting in front of you what's labeled as Defendant's Exhibit O, and those are 2 certificates for training. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So the one that's from 2019, what did that cover?
That covered the use of the CAS codes software.
And what did the one in 2023 cover? Your Honor, I move for admission of Defendant's O.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, those are exhibit, oh, no.
Okay, so he has certificates to use the program, right? He has certificates to use the program. All right, he has certificates to use this program.
No objection. Thank you.
Detective Maury, how many total hours do those certificates represent of CAST training?
I apologize, I didn't look, it was a week long, that was actually a couple days each time. Today, the piece of need this, but. So 2019 shows 24 hours, 2023 says 16 hours.
2023 doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Detective, you've written some reports in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to talk about two particular reports right now. One is from May the 5th of 2023. Do you recall that report or should I bring a copy of that to you?
If you help, well,
I can definitely do that.
You guys, this guy is going to be screwed. If he testified, because they're talking about he did April 19th. Guess what happened right after that? That's when they were doing the grand jury. This is grand jury shit. He said he wrote up 2 reports. Okay, 2 reports. Oh, hell's bells. So this guy has literally just 2019, he had 24 hours. Okay. And he did 2 reports in this case.
You can show it to Ms. Jennings.
I think I would know what reports I did. I'm just saying.
We have a jury next door.
Okay.
So that's all about it.
Detective Maury, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes.
And your Honor would move for admission of defendants P?
That's P.
P, like Paul?
All right. Any objection? Okay, thank you.
No.
Exhibit P is admitted. No objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Maury, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Holy shit, so he just wrote up a police report. He just wrote up a police report a couple days ago. And sent it to fucking Ann Taylor today? Oh my god. Okay, so hold on 1 second. So they just admitted P, and she couldn't give you the other exhibit because you just gave it to me today, and it was a police report that you just wrote up, okay? And he's like, yep. And because they're trying to be, they know this is public, so I bet you there are some rules saying like, hey, please be as discreet as you can. Okay, makes sense. Like, I get it. So he just turned over a report that he just wrote up a couple days ago. As in turned over today. Okay.
Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about documents or records or logs that can be created by a CAST Viz program.
We're talking about a CAST Viz program. Reports that can come from a CAST Viz program.
Report that you wrote that I received today, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The session logs that I found were from yesterday.
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for the jury.
Okay. And
okay, so he happened to find reports yesterday because he was preparing for this hearing. So that's how he came across these reports, okay?
And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CAST Viz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No.
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
Okay, so this would mean that when he wrote his report in May, she just asked him, did you have those report? Like, what you just sent me that you just found because you were like preparing for today, did you use those in your May 3rd, 2023 report? And you just heard him say no. Okay. You guys do know who he's going up against, right? You guys do know who he's going up against, right? The fuck out of here. Let's listen now. It's going to be great.
Session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right. And in those session logs, how many files were there?
I remember I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
How many different session logs? 6 or 7, but this was stuff that was sent to him from the FBI, he's saying.
Did you look at the CastViz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did. It was on the reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attempted to.
All right. And
He attempted to look at it. Who's I attempted to look at it? Like what, you couldn't look at it? Oh, because you didn't save it. Is that where we're going here? So she asked, hey, so did you look at he says, I attempted to look at it.
how about the CastViz full log?
I attempted.
So there was a 48-hour one that was done. You guys remember the PCA? Okay, remember the PCA? How they were able to get this historical records, AT&T, they did 2 of them. Okay, the first one was, we're going to go out and we're going to get 48 hours. So you're looking at 24 hours before the murders and 24 hours after the murders. You guys remember that one? December 23rd, 2022. That's the first AT&T one. And that was the connection with Bryan Kohberger. All right. This is Lawrence Maury on the stand. Detective Lawrence Maury, who was pen to paper, writing up all these search warrants. All right. Hanging on to search warrants and not filing Reddit search warrants until, remember the date when he wanted to write it? And then, yeah. Anyways, so this is Lawrence Maury. Finally, I get to see who's Lawrence, who's the guy behind all these search warrants that I went through for hours. There was a 48-hour one, and then they did one that was over a longer period of time. And this is through AT&T, and it was in connection with Bryan Kohberger's phone. His number, I should say, his number.
Yesterday.
I noticed in your report that there were several items that you listed. Were those from these CastViz logs that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to, you need to speak up a little bit, or just telling me to pick up a little bit.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
Well, let's start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
There's over 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records, and there's a 48-hour session log.
Let's go with the session log. What was in there?
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by CastViz.
JSON files were produced by CastViz. Is that right?
I would assume that. I didn't create those files.
I would assume that I didn't create those files. So who created them? Because I think you testified to them. So you didn't create them and you testified to them under the grant. I think that you testified to them in the grand jury. So somebody else created them. But why? So they're sending them to you.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December. The other was in April.
December
of what year?
23.
And April of what year?
23.
Could you tell who created those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
I was provided those.
He couldn't tell who created them. I could not tell who created these files. He was sent them, and he was sent them by, I want to say, Nick Balance from the FBI.
By who?
Nick Balance of the FBI.
What did you do with those?
Nick Balance of the FBI.
I gave them as soon as I realized that they were in my possession. I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes.
What did you do?
He is saying that because he was preparing for this trial hearing, that he went to look at his shit in preparation for this hearing. And that in preparation for this hearing, He was going through the 48 hours. This is the December and the April search warrants associated with Bryan Kohberger's shit, okay? For AT&T for his phone. And that he didn't know that there was additional stuff in there because he didn't create it. But when he found it, he then contacted the prosecutor and gave... You guys remember how Ann Taylor's been asking for things? That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So he contacted the prosecutor and gave the prosecutor whatever it is that he says he came across.
Do with them prior to that time.
They were sent to me, I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay, and that was the 48-hour file?
The 48-hour session log, yes.
How about the full file? What was contained in there?
Similar to items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohberger?
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written. One that covered a 48-hour period for the cell phone number, and there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
All the way, you guys know the one that he's talking about, the second one in April. That's the one that goes from June 23rd, 2022 until November. I wonder if they may have even taken it all the way to the day that he was arrested. So the inception of that phone, which was June 23rd, 2022. And I think they took it until 12/29/2022. Okay. That's the second.
What you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2?
Correct. Okay. 48 and once for the longer period.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It's a file that I received from Agent Balance.
When did you receive that?
I want to say the modification date for that email. I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was yesterday and I didn't throw this stuff together. So,
okay. So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Did you open that?
I don't recall opening it. If I did, I don't recall doing it.
How about the CDR.S.XLSX file? Would that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
All detail records?
Call
Did you
detail
open
records.
I don't remember if I did not.
Did you open it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was looking for it. Once I found them, I was trying to figure out how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's what I was.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Do you guys understand this? This guy is on the stand saying that we're in 2024, just so you guys don't, in case you guys don't remember, we're in 2024, and he is saying records that he had in December of 2022, and then records that he had in April of 2023, that he's, because in preparation for this case, aka this hearing, he then was reviewing his stuff. He went into these folders and he found stuff and he contacted the FBI. He didn't open them and he just sent them to the prosecutor. He sent them over to Bill.
Okay. How about the export.kmz file? When did you find that file?
I found that one yesterday.
Do you know when that came into your possession?
It was some time ago.
Did you open that?
She says, when did you get that? I got that some time ago, but I found it yesterday. Excuse me?
I believe I did on my laptop.
What did that show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on and on.
It showed him different locations on a map. Okay, it showed him different locations on a map. This is all going to come together, in my personal opinion, on the 30th or whenever this, I think that's the one the hearing is. Because this guy has no fucking clue what he's talking about. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. He has no clue what he's looking at. He doesn't know the dick from the ass, okay? He does not know. Or if he does, he's playing stupid because he's just royally fucked the dog.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CASVIZ 48 and the CASVIZ full, are those copied so that I can have those now?
Yes.
And you referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were preparing for this hearing?
There was 5?
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes.
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
It was a JSON file that was inside the Cassidy's session.
What does that depict?
It's just data that Cassidy's would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use?
So there's 2 addresses in plain English, he says. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand whatever he would have testified to the grand jury and he didn't have any of this stuff and he's testifying to the grand jury?
Use that file. Well, let me ask this first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CastViz program?
I attempted to load the session file in its entirety and received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I could see reference.
Is that file usable?
I'm sure it is somewhat.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of if I could possibly bring it into the CastViz. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do.
So he couldn't get into it. He couldn't get into it. He couldn't get into it. So what did you testify to? He testifies here today and says that there is stuff that he did not know that existed, right? Because he just turned it over to the prosecutor, right? So that would mean that if this man testified to any of this shit in front of the grand jury, then you're testifying. What did you testify with? And what were you missing? He testified to a screenshot? Somebody told you what to say? Or you just thought that, hey, oh my God, we got to go do this because guess what? We can't have a preliminary hearing. If we have a preliminary hearing, we don't have anybody that's going to testify to any of this stuff. So we just need to go and do what? We just got to go and do what? Like, so let me get this straight. Y'all lied in a grand jury hearing? You committed perjury? Or did you just testify to things that you're not qualified to testify to?
I didn't get that. I didn't pull that file.
Is that file available on a discovery drive for me?
Provided to the prosecutor today.
Thank you. In the report that I just got today, there's a reference to another CastViz session and some screenshots. What is that about?
You're talking about just the regular 48 hours folder?
I don't know. I'm curious.
So that I provided 2 folders. One was CastViz and one was my last name of Maury. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I used to create this report.
Okay. CastViz is the files that you found while preparing?
Correct.
And the one that says Maury is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2020.
Okay, hold on right there. You guys, these dates matter. Anne's trying to figure out, okay? Anne's like getting dates down, right? Okay, what was that? When did you have it? Okay, so that so that means that you use that material for this report, okay? Because Anne knows all the dates that this man would have testified, the grand jury with his minutes, and here, this is the day that he testified. This is the paragraphs that you can find his testimony, blah, 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 right? Okay. So she's pinning this motherfucker. She's pinning him. This is what you call chess. She is pinning him down to certain things right here and right now. She is pinning him. Like you're going to be married to something. We're going to marry you up here. We're going to marry you to whatever it is that you want to be testifying to. We're marrying you that, okay? Okay. That's what's happening. That's what I see is happening.
23.
Yes,
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
that was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes,
Okay. And then your report dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
so I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked them.
Okay. What day were you asked to do?
I cannot remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 19th. Because that's when the screenshots were created.
Okay.
He doesn't know what he was asked to do in reference to this? What were you? Okay, so let me explain what this means. This means that you guys all work for me right here. I got 1,195 people in here. What is it? Yep, 1,195 people right here. And I'm like, okay, guys, guess what? This is going to be your task. This is what you're going to go do. This is what you're going to go do. This is what you're going to go do. And all of you guys disperse and we have our little tasks, right? Because guess what? We are all on a task force. And half of y'all are the FBI, and half of y'all are Idaho State Police, and half of y'all are the sheriff's department. Throw in fuck whoever you else want. I don't give a shit. But at the end of the day, we're going to testify in front of a grand jury. We're going to testify in front of a grand jury to indict Bryan Kohberger because we're not going to do a preliminary hearing. Now, don't you think that would be what would be said in a briefing session at some fucking point to this man? And you would know when that would be happening. And it's right. I mean, I know when the preliminary hearing was supposed to happen because I was supposed to be in Moscow for it. Okay. I had to go reserve Airbnb and put a deposit down. All right. I was trying to bring some money into the community. I was ready to play flip cup with those motherfuckers out there. So, and trust me, I'm really good at flip cup and I'm really good at beer pong. Just for the record. If anybody wants to play. We can even fill it up with water if you want. Those of you guys that don't drink alcohol, you can still play. But you would know what the hell you're supposed to be doing, right? That's what I would think. I would know what were you doing? What were you doing April 19th? What report, May 3rd?
Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a CastViz program at that time to create something?
Yes.
The CastViz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this CastViz program?
The 2019 training.
Okay. With the CastViz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CDR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48-hour records or did you do full records in April of 2023?
I only did the 48-hour records.
When you put the records in, those are the call detail records and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
Okay.
His location.
After you put those call detail.
Okay, so the call detail records are associated with Bryan Kohberger's location. Isn't that right, Mr. Maury? Isn't that right? You're on the hot seat for what? What are you on the hot seat for? Why would Ann Taylor call your ass up to the stand? What was your role in all of this? What was tasked from your lead to you to be in charge of?
Records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CDR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in?
Yes.
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and just import it into the program?
Yes, AT&T provides both PDF and text documents
Okay, so and it puts it into like a hold on.
of the file. I use the text document to put into CastViz to edit adjust.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you
What?
export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
Look at Judge. He's ping-ponging it. That's interesting. He's paying attention.
How did you create screenshots?
By using the built-in Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows game console, I believe they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G. That allows you to record your screen.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record?
Yes.
How many times did you use call detail records in the CastViz program?
Probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
A dozen times. Okay.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call?
So he's used it a dozen times in his existence. Okay. Now she says, that's a poorly worded question. Let me ask it to you this way. How many times did you use it in Bryan Kohberger's case?
Detail records.
I don't know.
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records.
Wait, what does he say right there about the grand jury? Right there. That's what we need. What does he say about the grand jury?
Probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the call detail records investigation.
Interesting.
I don't understand what that means.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
He wasn't the main person that was looking at those call detail records. He is just trying to shift. Oh, fuck me. Hold on one second. Oh, hold on one second. No way. No way. No way, no way, no way. Who's he trying to shift this to? Hold on one second. Give it to me, daddy. What were you talking about? Who, what, where? She's like, Anne needed some clarification on that. Why did Anne need clarification on that? Because Anne wasn't expecting him to say that, in my personal opinion.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
For the grand jury? Whoo, daddy. Okay. So why would the main person not be the one to testify for the grand jury? Why would they be like, yo, Maury, come on in here. You've been with the department for how long? We're going to need you to testify to this shit. Because you have some training experience from 2019, don't you? Didn't you go out there and train a little bit? Oh, shit. Yeah, what do you mean? I have no idea what's coming, but I'm telling you right there, it doesn't make any sense. And Ann calls him on it. Ann calls him on it.
Okay. What did you rely on in producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records?
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
So like basically she's like wondering like, wait, you testified to something that you didn't do? You understand that? That's like me going into like a work meeting and being like, hey guys, I'm here to give a presentation. And hey, this is why you guys are gonna come out here and buy this Hoover vacuum. You guys can use it on your dicks. It'll suck it so good. You'll be feeling it for days, you know? And I'm over here like, oh my God, I didn't realize that any of that said that. Like I didn't make the report up. I'm just the person that's dealing it. You know what I mean? I'm just presenting it. Shit, I would have never used those words. Oh my God, I would have never, you know, that wouldn't have been my research. I wouldn't have said that only 13% of households have vacuums now because they have, you know, maids and stuff like that. What did you testify to? Where did you get this information from? That's how I look at it. Like, what are you testifying to? I think that kind of, isn't that what Ann's saying? Like, okay, so wait, you.
I don't understand the question.
Okay.
See? Oh, wait, I don't understand the question. Well, I heard that a lot. Can you rephrase that? Can you rephrase? You know what happens because your mind just slips and it's just like, oh, wait, I just talked about the grand jury. You know what that means? It means because you met with the prosecutor and the prosecutor told you what was coming. The prosecutor told you that they're going to talk about the grand jury and what you testified to. Who said anything about the grand jury until this motherfucker opened up his mouth and said anything about the grand jury? Did anybody say, did Ann Taylor say grand jury first or did he say grand jury first? I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think Ann Taylor said anything about the grand jury. Ann Taylor didn't say, let's talk about what you said to the grand jury, right? She wants to talk about compelling discovery. And this motherfucker wants to talk about what he said to the grand jury, right? He said it. Ann Taylor's over here like, we are here for a motion to compel discovery. I'm trying to get the discovery, which y'all haven't given me, and y'all said that it didn't exist. Now y'all fucking find the shit that we were kind of asking for, and y'all give it to me yesterday, maybe the day before, and today, you know? And so I'm just trying to get the information, and here you are talking about grand jury. You're talking about the grand jury. Well, that's interesting because I bet your ass got brought in by none other than Bill Thompson and Ashley Jennings for a little fluff session over the past couple of days, huh? Probably way more than just a couple of days. That's my guess.
You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the CASVIZ programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing it.
Okay.
Okay, and who is that? Is that going to be Payne?
But you end up involved in it? So
But she's like, but you end up involved in it. Remember what I was just telling you guys before? I'm telling you, go look at those. I'm almost positive. Like, why didn't Payne just testify to this? Why did you have to bring in Lawrence Maury into this shit, right?
somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's why I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay.
Oh my God. Do you understand what that means? He was asked to look at it in April of 2023. It's because, check this out, ready? Isn't it true, Maury, that you and Officer Payne were actually working on it and you think that you could testify to this? And you thought that you knew it well enough and, hey, I've done this and I got my experience from all of the stuff that I learned was from this guy who I had a class with for 24 hours. So go ahead and put all this down and then we'll get the FBI to, back us up on it. Something like that. So now the question is, are y'all covering for the FBI at this moment? Or did you lie in a probable cause affidavit to arrest Bryan Kohberger? Because one of the two things is about to blow. And it's going to be either you truly didn't use the FBI and you lied in all of this probable cause for the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, which would be tossed for days, right? You know what I mean? Or let's do you guys kind of see where this is headed? I know when you actually go back and you get to listen to it and you get to stop it and like
was that all of your instruction?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm curious about what you relied on, what you to get to that.
So this is amazing. This is amazing. So Ann Taylor says, let me get this straight. This wasn't your portion of what you were supposed to do. You then get asked in April to come in, and then we're going to bring you in. And this is what actually you're going to testify, though, to at the grand jury. Like, she's trying to get clarification because she wants to understand, listen, the only way that you get to the bottom of something is you just simply ask questions in life. So here we have to bring in Maury because he's the one that testified to this. And clearly Ann Taylor reviewed the grand jury testimony, and the things he was testifying to weren't either in evidence, meaning in discovery, right? Like, how was he testifying to this? Where are these things? So-and-so testified to this. That's how you keep pounding them with supplemental request after supplemental request. It's when you're digging through the discovery and you find something, like just like I found yesterday. Brian fucking Drake, here you go. 4 phones, not 1, not 2, not 3 like y'all tried to say. Motherfucker had 4 phones, but y'all tried to make the 4th phone seem like when you put it into evidence, it was the actual 3rd phone that you found from the car. Y'all lied. I found it literally probably 24 hours ago. Brian Drake had 4 phones, not 3, 4. 4 phones. This is sick. Now, God, I can't wait.
I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So, right there, she said it. She said it. She's like, I want to know everything that you relied on. Every email, every this that you relied on to testify, because you're not the expert. You're not the expert. So what the fuck is going on here? And I'm going to replay that for you guys because it's really, really important right there. She just called it out. And he was fluffed. He was prepared for this. He should have been blindsided, but you know why he wasn't blindsided, guys? It's because the prosecution knew. That's why they weren't blindsided. It's because the prosecution knew, and they were able to fluff this motherfucker. Because he's probably over here, why am I being called? What the hell? And he sits him down, okay, well, let me tell you what's up. Backseat Bill. You're about to know what backseat really means. This is sick. And I cannot believe that the Gonsalveses are okay with this shit. I cannot believe that you could watch this motherfucking shit and be okay with it. I would sue the fuck out of them. And he has every grounds to sue them.
All the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this thing that you're not the expert for.
So
you produced all of these things that you aren't the expert in. She's like, I want it all. What does he say?
I wrote the update for the AT&T records, received the AT&T records. Those records were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CPR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and the exam.
Prosecution then asked me to create. The prosecution then asked me to create. The state has every right to go ahead and have a grand jury whenever they would want. Except in this case, they went ahead and said, hey, we're going to have a preliminary hearing in what would normally be X amount of days. They all agreed and stipulated to the fact that we can have a grand jury, or I'm sorry, a preliminary hearing in 6 months because it's a lot of data, okay? So then Bill Thompson and crew started tossing over the discovery, which you would think, here's all the material that we used to arrest your client, you know? Do you guys understand that none of the material, except up until what they're trying to say could possibly be today, yesterday, or the day before, it is 2024. This man was arrested in 2022. And that fucking defense attorney has not had the material that A, indicted him, and or B, arrested him. And it is 2020 motherfucking 4. And y'all want to come out here and y'all want to say that the defense is stalling? No. Y'all chose millions of dollars over truly being investigators to find out who truly killed 4 fucking kids on your campus that only generates all of your money, all of your revenue. Steve Gonsalves, they picked millions of dollars over your kid. They just slapped you in the face and they've been lying to you. And then the president of the president of that university had the fucking audacity to go to your kid's GoFundMe account and donate $500. I would take $500 right now, make a video and burn it and say, here you go, Grain, here you go, and burn it and tell him to go fuck himself. That's what I would do. Then they went ahead and wrecked down the house, right? After you, Steve, and your fucking family and these other families have said, what? We don't want that to be torn down yet. What did they do? They fucked you again. This is called blood money. This is blood money. Because the only thing that makes Moscow go round and round is that stupid fucking university. That shithole university where there's a fucking problem every other goddamn day, but they hide it. You got suicides. I ain't a suicide. You're hiding fucking frats doing what? Sororities doing what? Kids doing what to each other over there? Mm-mm.
Examine all detail records for the 4 hours. Any question? Yeah.
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T,
just to be really sure, when you wrote the 2 warrants, when you wrote them, Maury, this is to arrest Bryan Kohberger, right? Because these are the warrants that you used to obtain this stuff. What'd you say to get where was the goddamn probable cause? How did you have probable cause to obtain those warrants? So she says, just to be clear, on the 2 warrants that you wrote, motherfucker.
Talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the CAST training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too? Mm-hmm. And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the file out of it. I don't remember if I reset or you can delete any division as well.
You don't remember which thing you did?
I do.
But you decided to delete what you'd created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session logs. I don't know how I was doing it.
He didn't create them. It means he went in there and whoever did create them, we need you to testify to them because the FBI is not going to testify to it. This is fucking sick. And Bill Thompson and Ashley Jennings, y'all just got fucking worked today. This is just a pure work job. But until somebody walks all of this through for laymen to understand and slows it down and says, this is what's happening. This is what she's talking about. Because shit was going wild. You know, everyone was excited to hear this. Like, here, what are we going to see? What are we going to be able to see? What are we going to be able to see? You know, what have they been hiding from us? What have they been hiding from us? It's all lies. Ashley Jennings and Santa Claus didn't say a fucking word, did they? They kept their mouths shut. They didn't say a damn thing. And they just sat there taking hella notes, which I think is hilarious to take hella notes on, because they are going to they can watch us all night for the rest of creation kind until they're dead. And they really didn't, you know, cross, like they're going to cross up this guy. No. They had nothing to say. There was no smart ass shit. You guys got caught. You guys got caught. And I think I know who caught them. When you go back and you actually watch it like this, you see these big like pow moments that we didn't like realize that were there. That was just, she just toe tagged this man right there. Did he just say the word delete? Because I thought he didn't say delete. Remember? Did you say delete? Remember the prosecution asked you in April to come along and do something, but that this really wasn't. He's basically saying Payne was the one that was doing this. This was Payne's thing. Remember? Remember what December 23rd is all about? Payne went and got that search warrant. Or Maury wrote it up, but Payne signed for it when it came in. I don't know if you guys know that. I can show you that search warrant. Maury wrote it up, but when it came back, Payne was the one that signed.
You delete the reference of the file in the software, but the file itself is not deleted.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the CastBiz program, and it does its thing with the call detail records, which includes tower references, you either deleted that session.
Okay, so the tower references, remember what they use in the PCA, and they blow up a page, damn it. It's like page 7. They have the outline of the map because they're saying that it's pinging off of these towers, and this is Bryan Kohberger's phone that comes back on. It's made, and the reason that we're saying, because we're saying that the phone's moving in this type of pattern. Remember what this is all about? Is this alibi, and that Bryan Kohberger isn't where y'all said he was? Like, that's the whole alibi, is that you guys have him in an area that he was never there. And how did you get that? Where is this coming from? And this is the motherfucker that testified to that shit? Is that what I'm hearing? What? After he wasn't even the one, he's sitting here telling you, I wasn't the guy that, there was another guy that was involved. There was another main person. The prosecution just asked me to do it in April. Oh, they asked you to do what in April? Oh, testify to the grand jury about all of this shit that you didn't do? And what would you be testifying to? What did you testify to at the grand jury? This is so sick. Bring on Bethany. Bring on Dylan. Let's really roast some titties up in this motherfucker.
Or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file, from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
You don't know when you did that?
Okay, but you can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I deleted it.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The CDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into CastBiz in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show him.
All right, I'm going to leave all of you guys with this. As I pause this to show you this, you will appreciate the fact that what homie, oopsies, just went ahead and did is screw himself. Studying this manual and attending the basic training does not constitute an individual as certified to testify. Cell analysis is a great investigative tool. However, testifying in court regarding cell phone records is difficult and requires significant training. Prior to testifying, CAST agents receive over 500 hours of training. What did he say he had? 24 hours? Is that what it was? 24 hours of training? How you like me now? How you like me now? I don't give a fuck. Not a single fuck. Not a single solitary fuck. I don't give a fuck. Motherfucker, something like that. Something like that. How you like me now? He said he got 24 hours, then 16 hours. So, no, but guess what? Guess when he got the 16 hours? That was like in 2023, I think. He had, at the time when he was asked to do this, right? Yeah, he had 24 hours. So now, where are all those lawyers? Where are all those people that we're talking about? Why is Ann Taylor so all about the grand jury? Why does Ann Taylor, why is she talking about the grand jury? Why is she talking about any of this shit should be thrown out? Well, are you sitting here telling me that this man testified to cell analysis? Like, did he testify to this shit? Did he or Payne testify to this shit? What was he testifying to? I have no idea. I just don't think this guy's qualified at all. But I want to show you guys that he said he had 24 hours of training. Okay, 24 hours. 24 hours of training. So I can go take a class for 5 days out of the week and go for 5 hours per day. Whoa! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Testify as an expert? No, I have no idea how he testified. I wasn't there. Nobody was there. I just think this is wild as they come. But I don't think it was just about CAST that he testified to. I don't even know if he testified anything about CAST. I'm just trying to show somebody that he doesn't qualify at all with anything. Okay, he's not qualifying at all. Because he has no idea what the fuck he said. These are not, so you didn't, this isn't your work. It's like, here, somebody did, and I'm just testifying to somebody else's work, right? Whose?
I get it to you. Thank you.
Remember, she's talking about these. This is about search warrants. What did you write to obtain search warrants to be able to get this man's phone records? Not just his phone. We're talking about his historical data. What did you provide? What did you provide to even get that? Because
are you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked defendants W?
Because you guys remember this, right? You guys remember everything that's been out there is that they did not use anything to do with IGG to obtain any search warrants in this case. This has to do with what do you call it? This has to also do with obtaining search warrants, in my opinion. To obtain a search warrant, like you have to have probable cause to get those search warrants. What did you use? You do realize you are more qualified than he is. Thanks. I appreciate that. Shit. I don't know if that's all true, but all I gotta say is they came out and told us that they did not use IGG to get any search warrants, right, in connection with this case. And then so it's like, okay, so then if you didn't, then what did you use? I want to know what you used. Okay. What did you use? Did you lie in search warrants to obtain? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do? How did you do this? And I'm going to tell you what they had at that point. IGG brought them the name Bryan Kohberger. Then they put it in their database. And then so they would have saw that he had a ticket. Okay, here's his cell phone number. Okay, great. We have his cell phone number, but how do we obtain, like, for us to do those historic, like, how did they obtain the search warrant to do what they did in December 23rd? And how? If they didn't use IGG, right? I've been saying this. How? And then you know what I said to Drunk Turkey? I said, how did you obtain those historic? How did you get that? You're not just able to go and be like, yep, that is. You would have had him what? How are you even able to then input? So then you use that number and you what? You do what with it? What did you do once you had his number? Because you said he filled out some ticket, right? And he put his number on his ticket. So that's how you guys got his phone number.
Yes.
And have you seen that before?
I have.
Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessible.
Okay. And Your Honor, would move for admission of defendants W.
Thank you. No objection. Okay, that exhibit W is admitted.
Thank you.
No.
So Ann Taylor hands him the cast manual and says, "Is this?" You gotta be kidding me right now. And he's probably looking at that first page like, God damn it, 500 hours. I just testified that I have 24 hours. I'm sorry. And then you're like, Payne ain't got no hours. Payne's got 0 hours. Maury, you're the only one that's got some hours here. We're gonna need you to come down here. Why? Well, we're gonna need you to come down here and we're gonna need you to testify to the grand jury about some shit. We're gonna need you to log in and try to do a couple things here for us. Because you, out of all of us, you're the one with the most hours here. Well, how many do you have? Well, fuck, if we put them all together, we got like 80. Can we like break it up? Can I answer a couple questions? You answer a couple questions. I mean, together we got like 80 hours. Why didn't fucking Chief Fry get up there and say, I don't even know that answer. I don't even know how many people are in that house. We have no idea. Excuse me? Yeah, we didn't create a log. You didn't create a perimeter. No, we let everybody talk to each other. This is what's happening in the Karen Reed case right now. Y'all do get that, right? You didn't create a crime scene log? What's that? This is amazing. This is amazing. Not in a good way. Just like blows your mind amazing.
Objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST Field Users Guide?
I believe so.
I believe so. Oh, God. Do you understand that Bill Thompson's like, dude, I'm going to buy you a bunch of steaks. Don't worry. Shit, I'm going to play you. I'm going to strum my guitar. Okay, I got you. Just, you got to take one for the team, man. What do you want me to do? Just don't be combative. Be very, just Don't be defensive. You're just going to have to take it. Take what? Well, you're probably going to get, bent over on this happy hour Thursday over here. But it'll be quick, just be a quick booster shot and then we'll get you out of there. What? Well, you're about to get pummeled by Cyray. That's probably who, this is insanity. This is insanity.
I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little bit more about videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure. Thank you.
Look at Ann just handling this like a boss.
Let's switch gears for just a minute. You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow?
Yes.
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want to preserve?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those times.
What did you learn?
That they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures or both?
Both.
Did you do a preservation for anything?
Not recall saying actually preservation.
You guys, do you understand that when this went viral, that there was 4 kids brutally murdered, right? They were busy writing press releases. They were busy writing press releases to all of us saying that if you have any information, and that they're the ones saying that please send us, any businesses, anything, blah, blah, send us. So what you had 120 motherfucking people on this case. 120 people on this case, and nobody preserved. Who was in charge of this? Oh wait, this is this guy. You're in charge of it. You were in charge of going and getting make sure that you can grab all this footage, because that's the whole point, is we need to find this man. So if you didn't preserve any of this, right? Is it because you really truly didn't preserve it, or is it because it doesn't help your case? Is it because it ruins your case? Is it because you cannot see that white Honda Elantra entering in from where it's supposed to be coming, passing Floyd's and into the Moscow area? This is what you would call Brady material that they probably had and that they buried. Wouldn't you think that? What's his name said it? Blaker said, well, this is the only way you got to go out of here. You got to go out this way. And it goes right over there to WSU and da-da-da. And then Payne's like, yeah, and I just think he went that way. So we're going to go where they come on. Like, this is neighborhood canvassing 101. So then I ask myself, well, Lana, you've had a lot of experience with working with the Idaho State Police Department on how they operate, and local law enforcement agencies that work with the Idaho State Police. What is your take on this? Well, I think that they had the videos. My take is that they had the videos and that they buried them, or they didn't go and preserve them in the amount of time that they knew that they could be preserved because they knew that it wouldn't prove their narrative. That's my experience with Idaho State Police. So this man was supposed to go out and get all of the surveillance videos, because you got to prove, especially if you think that, okay, Bryan Kohberger, when did you get his name? 11/29. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay, so then it means he would have left out of here. He had a car. Oh my God. But I thought you guys knew that he had a car on 11/18. There was a white Honda Elantra that you knew about on 11/18, right? So we know the killer was on foot or on driving. So let's go ahead and we gotta go out and grab these cameras. And more importantly, we don't know how much time when it all happened, right? So we got to go get to, y'all didn't do any of this, and I had 120 agents on the case. I don't buy that. No, man.
Information letter out.
Okay, Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see what we're working with, Ann. What is he taking a peek at? Judge is like, oh my dear Jesus. Did you just see him wipe it? He's like, oh my God. Oh my God, Maury's getting crushed up here. He's absolutely getting crushed. And he's over here looking at whatever it is that he's looking at. I have this on 1.5 speed. And he is like, and let me explain something to you. These documents would have been provided ahead of time, okay? So if he wasn't true, if he was prepped, like he claimed, like that he talked, you know. Look at all those. Look at every page. What is this from? Okay, what is that? Let's find out. Are you fucking kidding me?
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these were emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for Windy.com, the website that does weather-related information, as well as some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay.
Those are his fucking emails. Those are his emails where he was then told that he could preserve things. Okay. So he clearly communicated in enough time to preserve this shit. Now let's go back. Let's go back and talk about, remember we got wind about the Gonsalveses being super pissed about that there wasn't a preserve, like they didn't get to something in time and therefore they couldn't get these cameras or whatever because it for whatever reason, for back of, you know, whatever the exact wording would be, let's just say it's not there. The information is it's past the date. They're gone. We couldn't get to them. Like we didn't get to them in time to preserve them. Well, Mr. Gonsalves, this is another woo moment. This man, Ann Taylor just handed this man, the man that you've been talking to for almost 2 years. This man is your contact. Mom. Yeah, Jackson, what's up? Sorry, we have a very, very, very important that we had to talk about there. This is very serious stuff over here. He always beats me. So this man, he was just handed his own personal emails that he was told how he could preserve this, that it was enough time to preserve it, and he didn't preserve it. He didn't preserve it. So that rumor out there that's saying that, oh, they missed it, like they missed the time. No, he knew. He knew. She just asked, oh, so, okay, you found out that you could preserve things. Did you do that? No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Your Honor, would move for admission of defendants P.
That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted. No objection.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And I have a specific one a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video? Okay. And are you aware that it was hooked in or brought in by Idaho State Police? How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. We'd have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them to let people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Okay. Right.
I don't know. I don't have that information. Is there certain people that I should track this Idaho State Police? Well, guess who you have to go? Guess who she has to go through for that? I already know that answer. Guess who it is? Leslie Lehman. Leslie Lehman? Come on, man. Wasn't it? Who else was it? There's a couple different people that were. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. You guys, I'm miles, I'm states away. Okay, I have every single search warrant printed out. I can tell you what happened on this day, what happened on that day, and I have nothing compared to what these people have. This is unbelievable.
Give me just a minute, Your Honor.
Sure.
Thank you, Detective Maury. I don't have the other questions for now, but hold on, the prosecutor might.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Thanks, Mr. Thompson. Ms. James. Okay, Ms. James.
All right, I'm gonna go back and talk a little bit about this CastViz. Can you explain to me generally what is CastViz?
It's just a software that is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastViz do you have?
Currently, I think I have 33 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
Drag the text file from the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes.
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
Those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. CastViz also allows a timeline playing view that you can record separately with those software. I can save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastViz?
The only thing that I would have done was gone in and changed made sure that the time was correct because they don't get it in TC. It was a coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the whole time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes?
No.
Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No, and in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save your session file.
Okay. And can you tell me why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this
He was creating visual exhibits for the grand jury.
be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can again open the software, drag the CDRs back in. A very short time is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't save it?
Yes.
I want to switch over to the other session files that you found. Were those session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
Who are they
And
created by?
have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes.
Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
It's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by Influence Cap Corporal Payne that told me that we should look into windy.com
And why is that?
just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay, so windy.com has cameras.
They got screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And after that, I'm seeing probably like 3 months or so.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from Wendy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten, I believe it was one image a day. Time frame wasn't where we were interested in speaking after that one.
So there is no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes.
It's what's available on the publicly available website.
Anyone can go to Wendy.com and grab screenshots.
And you've now done that?
I have.
Anything of evidentiary value?
No.
Have those been turned over anyway?
Yes.
I just have 1 second. Sure. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. You back?
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from Wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by prosecutors.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
Yes.
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
With the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, but for the right the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
Okay. But you didn't look back then.
No.
Could this be? What?
When we the guy that would book or take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received, is that right?
Yes.
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for Windy.com, a website that does weather-related information, as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay. Your Honor, would move for admission of defendants PP,
Thank you. That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP is exhibit or admitted, no objection.
Holy shit. Oh my God, listen to what he did. So there was a couple different discovery dumps and she provided him, I mean, he provided her with these screenshots and which was yesterday because the prosecution asked him to go do it. So he went in there, he found them, he took screenshots of them, and then he sent them over to the prosecution, and then the prosecution sent them over to Ann today. And the reason that Ann asked him about that is because, well, do you recall this? This is when you had an actual text, email conversation with these people, but you didn't go in and even attempt to look for anything. Okay? Holy shit.
When we started talking, we talked about you kind of being the guy that would book or take videos in from different.
So there's no evidentiary value.
None that we did.
And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes.
It's what's available on the publicly available website.
Anyone can go to Windy.com and grab screenshots.
And you've now done that?
I have.
Anything of evidentiary value?
No.
Have those been turned over anyway?
Yes.
I just have 1 second. Sure. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. You back?
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from Wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or go back and look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by prosecutors.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
Yes.
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
With the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, but for the right the parameters of. We did not grab those because they were not in the. Didn't see that they would be relevant.
But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. I couldn't tell you what time. most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime, middle of the days kind of thing. So we didn't grab those at the time.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And you also made a video of that. I want to show you a map and see if it's what I think it is. You have defendants R in front of you. What is that?
There's be a screen capture of the cast is something.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants R.
Objection.
No.
Exhibit R is admitted, no objection.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created? Okay. You would agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
If I took the regular cell call detail records and put them into a different version of the cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, the prosecutor suggested that your work could be recreated, and so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. What I want to know is, if I have the 48-hour call detail records that contain the tower list like you have, do I have to have the cast viz program that you used so I can see what you did?
I don't know, because I don't know what the back end of the cast software does. I'm just using it, so I don't know.
And you were in this cast viz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion. Is that right?
Yes.
But you didn't save your work.
You did not create a session log. That's unique.
Would you agree? I can't see what you did without your session log. Can't examine what you did without your session log.
Is there to create the visualizations for the exhibits? That's what I just asked.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into casts again. The results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that?
These records?
Yes.
No.
Accept it.
Wait, what do you mean with
Anything on that,
these
Ms.
records? Wait, hold on one second. Why these records? Hold on. These records.
These records?
Yes.
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into casts again. The results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that?
These records?
Yes.
No.
Accept it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Jennings?
Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into casts again. The results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that?
These records?
Yes.
No. Because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that? Session log.
Is there to create the visualizations for the exhibits? That's what I use casts.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right? Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into casts again. The results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create.
Have you done that?
These records?
Yes.
No.
He didn't finish his sentence to say the results would be. You guys see that? He didn't finish. He wouldn't. He can't say that the results would be the same because he didn't do the first time.
results would be what they are because we're still using the same records.
The results would be what they are because we're using the same records.
From AT&T to create
Have you done that?
Why is he asking with these?
these records.
Yes.
No.
Thanks, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I will leave you guys there with that, and I will be with you guys all tomorrow morning for the Karen Reed case. We are giving away $50 for the coverall bingo card. It'll start there at 9, and it'll be the first coverall that happens. That's one card per person, and then we will have at lunchtime, we will be featuring a head-to-head trial trivia. So if you want to click the link at lunchtime with the Karen Reed case, you have a chance to win a $20 gift card. So that's what's happening tomorrow morning. So come back and join me tomorrow morning if you are following the Karen Reed case. It's the best place to watch it. Higgins is on the stand, man. That ATF agent, you know, the one that they said flippy, floppy, flippy, floppy, flippy, floppy, and we got some medical records that were just put into discovery, hand over to the defense today. I'm also going to be talking about a case that involves a 23-year-old girl in the Stockton Police Department, Sutton, however they want to call it over there. At the end of the day, thank you guys for being here. Make yourself known, and lots more is happening here in Idaho, Moscow, Idaho. You guys know we've brought it here since day one with this case.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.